You have seen this chart before. 4 circles overlapping, what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, what you could be paid for. And in the center, one word, not in English, in Japanese. The word is Ikigai. You've probably seen it on walls, maybe on vision boards. You've seen it in business books or in the offices of life coaches all over the world. And you have been told it is ancient Japanese wisdom, a secret to a long life or a map to your real purpose. Here's the part nobody mentions. Japan did not make that chart. A British blogger made it in the year 2014 in under an hour by his own account. And all he really did was change one word. The word he removed and the word he typed in its place tells you something. Not about Japan, about us. Now, stay with me. This one is going to sit with you for a while. So we are focusing on some videos right now about what happens when one culture takes a word from another culture and wears it like a costume. And we're starting with one of the most famous examples alive. So let us start with the chart's real birth certificate. In 2011, a Spanish astrologer named Andres Zuzunaga drew a diagram. 4 overlapping circles, again, what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, what pays you. Sound familiar? It should. It's the same chart, but the word in the center was not Ikigai. The word was purpose, in Spanish, proposito, Western idea drawn by a Western author about Western work, and it appeared in a Spanish book in 2012. No mention of Japan. Then in 2014, a British business coach named Mark Wynn watched a TED Talk. The speaker was Dan Buettner, a National Geographic writer who studies places where people live past 100 years old. Buettner mentioned a Japanese word, Ikigai, and he used it to ask why people in Okinawa keep waking up with reason late into old age. But Buettner did not draw 4 circles, and he didn't just list 4 things. He just said the word. Mark Wynn then went home with that word in his head, and he took Zuzunaga's purpose chart. He deleted the word purpose, and he typed the word Ikigai in its place. He posted it on his blog, and he titled it, "What is your Ikigai?" And it spread fast. Millions of shares. It moved into Forbes, into Business Insider, into a best-selling book in 2016 written by 2 Spanish authors, which put that same diagram on its pages. Within a few years, most of the world believed this picture came from Japan. It did not. It came from a blog post built on a Spanish chart, sparked by one word in a TED Talk. And here's the honest part. Mark Wynn never hid this. Years later, he wrote about it himself. He said he managed 2 ideas. He said he changed one word, and he admitted he did not know much about Japanese culture at the time. So this is not a story about a villain. No one lied. This is a story about how a borrowed word takes on a life nobody planned. To see what went missing, we have to ask the people who actually live inside the word. The foundational book on Ikigai was written in 1966 by a Japanese psychiatrist named Mieko Kamiya. Its title means on the meaning of life. It has never been translated into English. In Japan, it is still the standard. Kamiya did not study entrepreneurs. She worked with patients living with severe illness and isolation. Her question was heavier than any career chart. It was, what makes life worth living when the present is unbearable? And her answer was that Ikigai is the thing that lets you face tomorrow when today is hard. It is closer to hope than a paycheck. It is what carries a person forward through suffering. Now, hear how a Japanese neuroscientist describes it today. His name is Ken Mogi, and he wrote his own book on Ikigai. He says, your Ikigai can be your morning coffee, a walk, a garden, time with a grandchild, something small, something daily. And Mogi says you can hold many Ikigai at once, a whole spectrum of small reasons to be alive. And Mogi has said plainly that the famous 4-circle diagram is wrong. Look at the word itself. Iki means life. Gai means worth. Worth being alive. That is the whole idea. So notice what is not inside it. No job, no salary, no business plan, nothing about being paid, but a small child has no career. A small child earns nothing, and a small child is overflowing with reasons to be alive. So the Japanese idea never asks you to monetize a single one of them. So put the 2 pictures side by side. On one side, the Japanese idea, small, daily, present, a reason to wake up, no income required. On the other side, the viral chart, built on 4 circles. And one of those 4 circles is this: what can you be paid for? The circle is the tell. The circle is not Japanese. The circle is the West. The chart is a Western purpose framework wearing a Japanese word. The structure underneath is ours. The label on top is theirs. And on this channel that has a name, we call it a costume. A costume is when one culture runs everything and borrows a few pieces from another culture to dress it up. It looks like the other culture, but it's not. Looks Japanese, isn't. And here is where most videos stop. They say, the West got Japan wrong, and they leave it there. But that's the boring question. Here's the better one. What was the West reaching for that it needed a foreign word to say? Because we didn't borrow Ikigai by accident. We borrowed it because we were hungry for something. And the shape of that hunger is sitting right there in the 4th circle. We believe meaning should pay. We believe your purpose and your paycheck should be the same thing. We believe that if the work you love does not earn money, you have failed at life. So that is a very specific worry, a very modern worry, and across much of the world, a very Western worry. The Japanese word never carried it. So we poured our worry into their word, and we called the result ancient wisdom. That is the costume. It's not malice, it's hunger. We reach for a calmer culture's word to make our own restlessness sound like peace. Now, before this sounds like one more video about the West ruining something, we could stop, because this pattern is not Western, it's human. And on this channel, you'll watch it run in every direction. Cultures all over the world borrow words from each other to name hungers they cannot say in their own language. The direction changes, the move stays the same. Let me tell you on myself. I'm American. I spent 10 years living in Australia, and I have lived in the Philippines for 6, almost 7 years. And I have reached for words from other languages more than once because English could not hold what I was feeling. Everybody does this. Reaching across for a better word is one of the most human things we do. So borrowing is not the problem. The problem is forgetting that you borrowed. When the costume gets so comfortable that you believe it was always yours, that is when you stop learning the real culture underneath it. So I'm not telling you to throw out the chart. Use it. It's a perfectly fine tool for thinking about your career, but just stop calling it Japanese and ask the better question, the one this whole series is built around. What is my culture hungry for that it had to borrow a word to say it? The most interesting borrowings are the ones nobody noticed were borrowed at all. I'm John, this is Crossbuilt. Thanks for thinking about this with me. Make sure and drop a comment below, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.